A quick warning. All of our what if videos contain AI. AI can make mistakes with no notice. Please click off this video if you don't want to see AI. Also, this what if is only a simulation. In the unlikely event this would happen, results may be different, and the format may not be what you are about to see if this happened in real life. Now, enjoy the video.
Flags are waving, hearts are racing. Every player, dreams they're chasing. From every corner, voices loud. We are strong, we are proud. Every pass, every goal, every fight. We shine together in the night. Chasing glory,
as the Savannah Bananas and the Texas Tailgaters form a two-team kick line as we get ready for game one of the Banana Ball Open final. Now doing a heck of a job at the top. That ball is demolished out to left center, and the first inning lead cut in half in one fell swoop.
Welcome to this Banana Ball News What If. This What If goes over a Banana Ball World Cup. Here is what's going to happen. There will be 20 countries that AI chooses. These countries gets a Banana Ball World Cup match. Then, the top 10 teams battle in playoff. 2 teams will get a bye week. There will be 2 conferences, the Northern Hemisphere and the Southern Hemisphere. 10 countries will be in those 2 conferences. I will explain more later.
The countries AI selected are United States, Canada, Mexico, China, Japan, India, Germany, France, Egypt, Saudi Arabia.
The countries AI selected are Australia, New Zealand, Brazil, Argentina, Chile, Peru, Indonesia, South Africa, Madagascar, Papua New Guinea.
Now that the countries are selected, let's go over how it works. There will be 5 regular season games for each countries. The top 10 countries make the playoffs. We will now start week 1.
United States versus Canada, Germany versus France, Japan versus China, India versus Mexico, Egypt versus Saudi Arabia, Brazil versus Argentina, South Africa versus Chile, Australia versus New Zealand, Peru versus Indonesia, Madagascar versus Papua New Guinea.
Winners are United States, Germany, Japan, India, Egypt, Brazil, Australia, South Africa, Peru, Madagascar.
If the regular season ended today, the United States, Germany, Japan, India, and Egypt would make the playoffs.
Brazil, Australia, South Africa, Peru, Madagascar would make the playoffs if the season ended today. Now let's go to week 2.
Mexico versus United States, France versus Japan, Germany versus India, Canada versus Egypt, China versus Saudi Arabia, Chile versus Brazil, Argentina versus Australia, South Africa versus Peru, New Zealand versus Indonesia, Papua New Guinea versus Madagascar. Rematch from week 1.
Winners are United States, Japan, Germany, Canada, China, Brazil, Australia, South Africa, New Zealand, Madagascar.
United States, Germany, Japan, India, Egypt would all make the playoffs if the season ended today.
Brazil, Australia, South Africa, Madagascar, Peru would all make the playoffs if the season ended today.
It's time to go to week 3.
United States versus Germany, India versus Japan, France versus Canada, Mexico versus China, Saudi Arabia, versus Egypt, Brazil versus South Africa, Chile versus Australia, Argentina versus Peru, New Zealand versus Madagascar, Papua New Guinea versus Indonesia.
The winners are United States, Japan, France, Mexico, Egypt, Brazil, Australia, Argentina, New Zealand, Indonesia.
The United States and Japan made the playoffs. Germany, Egypt, and India would be in if the season ended today.
Brazil and Australia made the playoffs. South Africa, Madagascar, New Zealand would make the playoffs if the season ended today. Now it's time for Week 4. United States versus Japan, Canada versus Germany, France versus Mexico, India versus Egypt, China versus Saudi Arabia, rematch from Week 2, Brazil versus Australia, South Africa versus Argentina, Peru versus Chile, Papua New Guinea versus New Zealand, Madagascar versus Indonesia, United States, Germany, France, India, China, Brazil, Argentina, Chile, New Zealand, Indonesia. Germany made the playoffs. 2 spots are open. Egypt and Canada would make the playoffs if the season ended today. South Africa, Madagascar, and New Zealand would all make the playoffs if the season ended today. It's now time for the final week. United States versus France, Germany versus Japan, India versus Canada, Mexico versus Egypt, China versus Saudi Arabia, Brazil versus New Zealand, Australia versus Chile, Peru versus Madagascar, Indonesia versus Papua New Guinea.
United States, Germany, India, Mexico, China, Brazil, Australia, Argentina, Peru, Indonesia. United States, Germany, Japan, China, and Canada had all made the playoffs. Brazil, Australia, Argentina, Indonesia, and New Zealand has all made the playoffs.
All 5 weeks has ended. The playoffs may now begin. Here is what will happen. The top 5 seeds for both hemispheres made the playoffs. The first seed, United States and Brazil, gets a bye week. Seeds 2 will go against seeds 5. Seeds 3 will go against seeds 4. First seed automatically gets a semifinals match.
Northern Hemisphere, Germany 2 versus Canada 5, Japan 3 versus China 4, United States 1. Bye week, Southern Hemisphere, Australia 2 versus New Zealand 5, Argentina 3 versus Indonesia 4, Brazil 1. Bye week. Germany, Japan, Australia, Argentina. The highest seed country, Australia and Germany at 2, makes an automatic conference finals appearance. Japan and Argentina faces the top seed. Now, let's start the semifinals. United States versus Japan, Brazil versus Argentina. United States, Brazil.
Now it is time to start the conference finals. The winner moves on to the World Cup finals.
United States versus Germany, Brazil versus Australia. United States, Brazil. Both teams will meet up in the finals.
It is time for the finals. United States and Brazil. They worked hard for this, but now it is time. Who will win the finals? The United States wins the finals. Thanks for joining us on this What If. Jesse Kolb presents the trophy to the US, and then Jesse makes an announcement. He says, please take a look at the video board, and it announces our next What If.